second of rain.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Homework Genius. In this video, I'm going to show you how to find the inverse of a 2 by 2 matrix. If A and B are n by n matrices, and AB equals BA equals IN, then B is the inverse of A. So it would be written as B equals A to the negative 1, which is the inverse matrix. And IN is the identity matrix. So for a 2 by 2 matrix, the identity matrix would be written as I2. And for a 3 by 3 matrix, it would be written as I3. And for a 4 by 4 matrix, it would be written as I4. And an identity matrix is always written as ones in the diagonals running from top left to bottom right, and the rest of the spots would be filled with zeros. So for the inverse of a matrix, let A be a square n by n matrix. If A to the negative 1, which is the inverse of A, exists, then A times the inverse matrix equals the inverse times A, which equals the identity matrix. So to find the inverse, if you have a matrix A, B, C, D, then the inverse of A equals 1 over AD minus BC times D, negative B, negative C, A. And this AD minus BC is the determinant. And if the determinant equals 0, then A has no inverse. Let's try an example. We're given the matrix A equals 4, 5, 2, 3. Let's find the inverse. So let's just plug everything into our formula above. We have 1 over the determinant, which is AD minus BC, which in this case is 4 times 3 minus 5 times 2, times the matrix D negative B negative CA, which if you notice, the diagonal from left to right of the matrix is just flipped that A and D, and the B and C stay where they are, and they're just negative. So instead of that 4, 3, you just flip those, you write 3, 4, and you write negative 5 and negative 2. Now let's reduce. We have 1 over 4 times 3 is 12, minus 5 times 2 is 10, so 12 minus 10 is 2, times our matrix 3, negative 5, negative 2, 4. And to multiply that 1/2 times the matrix, you would just multiply that 1/2 times each term in the matrix. So 3 times 1/2 is 3 over 2, negative 5 times 1/2 is negative 5 over 2, negative 2 times 1/2 is negative 1, and 4 times 1/2 is 2. And that's your inverse matrix. Now let's verify that matrix A times its inverse equals its inverse times the matrix, which equals the identity matrix. So let's first do that by multiplying A times its inverse matrix. So we were given that our A is 4, 5, 2, 3, and we found the inverse to be 3 over 2, negative 5 over 2, negative 1, 2. Now let's multiply these matrices. If you don't know how to multiply matrices, check out my other video in the link above on the right. So let's multiply. We start by multiplying the first row of the first matrix times the first column of the second matrix. So 4 times 3 over 2 plus 5 times negative 1. Let's move on to the first row, second column, 4 times negative 5 over 2 plus 5 times 2. Now let's do the second row. The second row times the first column, 2 times 3 over 2 plus 3 times negative 1. And for that last term, 2 times negative 5 over 2 plus 3 times 2. Now let's reduce. 4 times 3 over 2 is 6, plus 5 times negative 1 is negative 5, so we're left with 1. 4 times negative 5 over 2 is negative 10, plus 5 times 2 is 10, so negative 10 plus 10 is 0. And 2 times 3 over 2 is 3, plus 3 times negative 1 is negative 3, so 3 minus 3 is 0. And 2 times negative 5 over 2 is negative 5, plus 3 times 2 is 6, negative 5 plus 6 is 1. So now we can confirm that A times A to the negative 1 is the identity matrix. Now let's multiply the inverse matrix times the matrix. So let's write the inverse that we found, 3 over 2, negative 1, negative 5 over 2, 2, times our given matrix A, 4, 5, 2, and 3. Now let's multiply. So let's start with that first row and first column, 3 over 2 times 4 plus negative 5 over 2 times 2, and 3 over 2 times 5 plus negative 5 over 2 times 3. And for the second row, negative 1 times 4 plus 2 times 2, and negative 1 times 5 plus 2 times 3. So 3 over 2 times 4 is 6, plus negative 5 over 2 times 2 is negative 5, so 6 minus 5 is 1. 3 over 2 times 5 plus negative 5 over 2 times 3 equals 0, and negative 1 times 4 plus 2 times 2 equals 0, and negative 5 plus 6 is just 1. So now we've confirmed that we got the identity matrix. So in this video, I showed you how to find the inverse of a 2 by 2 matrix. You can check out my next video on how to find the inverse of a 3 by 3 matrix. Here's the full problem so you can screenshot it for your notes. I hope this video helped. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments below. Thanks for watching.